Okay, hello everyone. So tonight, it's dark outside, it's nighttime. I thought I would film my process of my entry for the Tessuti competition. If you don't know, Tessuti is a fabric shop in Australia, and every year I think they do competition where they pick a fabric and you have to make something from that fabric. And so this year it's this georgette. It's really basic poly georgette. I'm not usually a huge fan of polyester. I prefer natural fibers, but it does have really gorgeous drape, and it came in 3 colors. So I chose the navy and the black and thought I'd do a little bit of kind of color blocking or something. So yeah, so this is the fabric. Really soft, like a thin fabric but not see-through. Really soft and nice, but it is poly, which I don't love. It did come with these little Tessuti tags, which I think is so cute. And it's always nice in handmade garments to have a little tag at the back, especially sometimes it can be hard to tell the back of the garment. But tonight what I'm doing is draping on this lovely lady. And yeah, before I got the fabric, I did do some rough sketches. I was thinking either some sort of like really drapey dress, something interesting maybe at the front, or like maybe even like a jumpsuit or something. I don't know, but feeling it, I think I want to make a dress. I just think with poly, because it can hold quite a bit of static charge, with pants, with them like swishing together, I would worry. I don't know, I might get a bit too staticky. And I find whenever I wear polyester pants, they always stick to my legs too. So I think I'm going to go more for a dress. I do kind of like a crossover detail or something like that. But the hem I do want also, because I've got the 2 colors, I want to do something kind of color blocking. I was thinking I might even do like kind of scallops in the blue and then the black the other opposite, obviously. But we'll see what I think up. So yeah, I thought I might as well vlog this process. I am currently in the process of putting together that collection, which is hanging on the wall, which is the winter collection for my brand. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out. I'll link it all down below. So the main things I use for draping is this draping tape. I'll use that if I have sort of an idea of where I want to start. So because I know this is sort of a neckline, I might pop where I want that to go on the mannequin, just so when I'm draping this, I kind of have an idea. Sometimes if I'm doing something with lots of panels, it's really helpful. Also some nice sharp pins, some safety pins as well, in case there's something that I don't want to pin to the body and I don't want it to slip out of the fabric, especially if it's a fabric this fine. I also carry some Sharpies, especially if I'm draping in toile fabric, and one of these friction removable pens, because actually it's the heat of the friction, I'm pretty sure, that removes it, so an iron will remove that as well, plus a bunch of measuring tapes just in case I need to measure something. So yeah, I'm gonna start draping on her. Okay, so this is what I've come up with. I've got kind of a curve here that connects down to the center panel. I'll have a string here, or probably make a rouleau out of the fabric. This will be the navy, this will be the black, and then this will be navy. So just kind of like a crossover front. This side will be the same as this, with a gathered waist, which I think I might make elastic so I don't have to put a zipper in it. I can just pull it over my head. Pretty simple plain side seam. And then the back, which I kind of need to finesse a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, I could put a zipper down the back if I wanted, but I prefer not to, because I want this kind of really clean line, because this comes over to the front, and then it's got the curve here as well, so kind of keeping that arched look throughout it all. And again, just like a lightly gathered waist. So I think if that's elastic, I should be able to, because the front's quite open, pull it over my head. So I did a quick little sketch. So I always print out these little templates with a faint figure. Hopefully you can see it on the camera, just to make it really quick when I'm sketching. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for the finished look. Really basic skirt shape, but then have these kind of scalloped panels, which will be godets, so they'll be flared at the bottom, so it will really kind of flare out at the bottom, and have the main body in black and then all these contrasts in the navy. Okay, so it's been a little while, a couple of weeks since I last filmed, but I'm ready to cut this out. I was thinking maybe I would twirl this, like probably sew it up and try it on, but whenever I've draped stuff on this mannequin, I've got it set to all my correct measurements. It's fitted perfectly before, so I figure worst comes to worst, I can just tweak it if I feel the need. So what I'm going to do is lay these pieces out on the fabric. So I've drawn around with a Sharpie all where the seam is going to end. So that doesn't include any seam allowance. So I'm going to add about 1 centimetre seam allowance. I'll probably do French seams on most of these except this one. That will be encased. I'm going to do 2 lots of that. So that will be kind of like encased in there. And same with at the back, so it has a really neat finish. Side seam will be French seam. Probably might do a bias finish on the armhole, I'm not so sure. Neckline I'm just going to have folded back under, so I'll probably do quite a big seam here, and just have it tucked under here and press it that way, and also it will tuck under where it's stitched, so it will probably stay. And I'll just finish that edge with a rolled hem. And yeah, the skirt's going to be really easy to cut out. I'm just going to be cutting out basically this measurement and then in a sort of triangle shape, I suppose. Like not a full circle skirt, maybe like quarter, if that. And then cut out a bunch of these, as many as I think will fit. So yeah, I'm going to begin cutting it all out. Okay, so I cut out the 3 pieces, the front, the back, and the back yoke. And what I'm going to do now is measure around the waist to get the waist measurement for the skirt. This is sort of the shape, imagining that's on the fold, that I'll be creating. I'm going to make it 50 centimeters, and then the godets I'm going to add are going to be 30 centimeters. So it's going to be about like 3/4, a little bit longer on me. Yeah, so I'm just going to measure around this, and I'm not going to count this bit because that is the crossover, so if that makes sense, otherwise I'd be adding like extra. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, so I'm going to be like from center back all the way around, and then I'm going to be like adding that amount there. That'll be the crossover, and then add another center back, and that'll give me my full waist measurement. And yeah, so I'm going to do that, cut out that, and then work out how large this area is to work out the little edge detail. And yeah. So when I was cutting out the kind of godet bits for the bottom, I didn't have quite enough fabric. I could only cut out 20, and I had originally worked out that if I had 32, it would fit around the hem of the skirt. So what I either had to do was go and buy more fabric, which I really can't be bothered doing, or work something else out. And I thought, because this was already such a full skirt, like it was like 3 meters 20 all around, that's quite a full skirt, I just cut down the skirt from the side a little bit. You probably saw in the time lapse. So I took out the extra section, so now it's just a 2-meter hem, which is still really wide, so it's still going to flow nicely. And because the waist is gathered as well, it's still going to look pretty, I believe. So now I'm going to pin all the pieces together, and also I'm going to iron these inwards, press it down, because I believe I'm going to have to top stitch this. It's either top stitch or hand stitch, and I don't have the patience for hand stitching, so top stitch it is. Okay, so I'm going to iron all of this in for the curve, and good trick to keep the curve nice and smooth while you're ironing is take the pattern piece and trace at least the curve bit off with a bit of cardboard. I'm literally just using an old tissue box because any bit of cardboard will work, and then place that down and then iron over the top. And because the cardboard's thick, it creates a really nice smooth curve. So I've got everything cut and pinned up here. I've also cut a piece of elastic, just a thin centimeter wide one that'll fit my waist. And then I've got a couple of pieces here, so that's the shoulder piece, and then all these pieces which I ironed, so they're all folded in. Those I haven't pinned yet because I need to finish all this first. So I'm gonna get started with all this. Note, I'm using a size 70 needle because this is a finer fabric. With the fabric this fine, using a larger needle is just gonna leave massive holes and it's not gonna look so great. Okay, so I finished the skirt. It's all been top stitched on there, and then it's not yet attached to the bodice, which I also finished. I top stitched all around that because I just thought it kind of had a nicer finish to it. I ended up finishing the sleeves with a bit of bias binding, and yeah, so I'm going to add the top bit to the skirt, and I'm going to do a French seam, so with wrong sides together, stitch 0.5, and then I'm going to add the elastic inside it when I sew it the other way and case it in. That way the elastic will be nicely cased in there. And yeah, I'm excited for how this is turning out. I also added the little Tessuti label that they give you when you order the fabric, which I think is just such a nice little touch. So I've finished it all now. I top stitched all of these on, and I just did a simple rolled hem. And then I've got all of this, the elastic's just encased in the waistband, and this just sits folded back by itself because of the tension on the bodice. And these didn't work out as perfect as I'd hoped, but I still think they kind of show off a nice curve and touch of blue. And the back, I'm really happy with the kind of subtle curve and just simple gathered waist.